guys, it's Rebecca here again, and today I'd like to talk to you about how to get unstuck. Yesterday I had two clients that were feeling really stuck and it was really painful for them. So they came in for sessions, and I think it's important to know that one of the first ways to get, or the main way to get unstuck, is to be able to find your core essence, to anchor into your center. And once you're connected to your center, you're unattached to your habitual ways of thinking, and there's more dynamism available. You can see more of what's possible. But even more importantly, your autonomic nervous system isn't so seized up in fight or flight, because when we feel stuck, then the nervous system starts reacting to the state or the experience or interpretation of being stuck. So that just reinforces that pattern. So let me think. There are other ways that we can definitely work with being stuck. I would say that another way is to connect to your passion, but to feel it in your body, especially heart center and second chakra. That's what I think. So second chakra is right below your navel, right above your pubic bone. And I like to connect to the whole pelvic floor and diaphragm and to open up that. So it's like, if you can imagine it moving from a closed system to an open system, and imagining that the hips and the pelvic floor and that second chakra can all breathe. So you're bringing more presence and aliveness into that part of the body. It's helpful to use your hands. So if that feels like there isn't a lot of sensation when you first get there, just sit there and bring your awareness and your consciousness down there and start feeling a warm feeling. Like, let it kind of breathe, let it open up, and just that attention is enough to get some energy going. So you want to have a relaxed breath, deep contact with the second chakra. And the reason why we work with the second chakra is, in one way, it's part of your root. It's part of the root of your nervous system. So that can be responsible partly for fight or flight, or it's connected right to the base root. And when we don't feel safe, or when we're in a freeze response, we clench that up and our mind starts looping. And oftentimes when the hips and the pelvic floor are tight and that place doesn't have presence, our minds tend to loop and the jaw tends to be tight as well. So you might not even notice that your glutes are tight or that your psoas muscles are tight. And with a little body work, you might be able to explore that, where you can bring your being or your spirit, your consciousness, back down into that second chakra. The other reason why I love working with the second chakra is that this is your place of identity, it's your place of relationship, and it's your place of passion. And what I like the most about that is that identity and passion have a connection. So when I think about how I made my decor beautiful here in my office, that was all from my artist self. It was from my most passionate part of myself, that I have a dream and that I can create it. And it's so satisfying to me when I connect to that. Like, this feels like a sanctuary to me. And so it was born of a place of passion. It has rich colors and rich patterns and textiles, and the whole point of this space is for it to be a ceremonial space where people get to access a sense of being holy and precious and treated like royalty. So the way that you connect to your passion in your second chakra is you can put your hands over there, let it start breathing and moving from a closed system to an open system. And while you're doing that, let your mind drift to it and breathe through it and bring up all the things that you love. So this is your evolutionary impulse. this is the creation place where a human life can be born. So there are miracles within your desire for creation. And that might be through an experience that you want to have. It might be through something that you want to feel. It might be through something that you already really love, like maybe it's deep intimacy, or maybe it's this zone state that you get in when you're learning about something that's really stimulating to you. Or maybe it's something artistic, or maybe it's cooking, or maybe it's being a good mom. Everybody has a different thing that it's like no matter how much you try to talk yourself out of it, that's what you love. And your whole body is a yes to it. There's no kind of weird feeling or underlying uncertainty. It's like my body just knows, like my head can't talk me out of this. And when you connect to your passion, that's directly linked to your purpose. So you really are what you love, and that's how we connect the identity to the passion in the second chakra. So the more that you feel that thing that brings you alive, the more you love anything, you become a part of it and you become connected to it. So when you feel yourself experiencing what you love, it lights you up. And you start being able to experience yourself in a different way, where you are now a creator instead of life happening to you. So that means that instead of, you're perceiving all of these things like, I don't know how to do this, I don't know how to do that, I don't feel good, I don't feel connected. This is a great way to start feeling connected again. And also through intimacy and relationships. It's a perfect way to start opening that up. But it also has to have a deeper meaning. It has to have some kind of, like a sense of, if I could do anything before I die, this is what would make me happy. Like this is the thing I really want to experience, because the things that we want to experience teach us about who we are. And that's our job on this earth. It's basically to be kind to each other, to discover who we are with a sense of our divinity in the background, at least. And this switches us from having all these ideas and judgments, a lot of times self-imposed, but also that come from our conditioning around who we're supposed to be, what we're supposed to look like, what we're supposed to be doing. There's no place for that in the evolutionary impulse, because just like a woman wants a baby, you're going to want the experience that you want no matter what. And it's sacred to pursue your bliss. And this is your bliss in the purest state, not exactly your bliss from a shadow place. So it's helpful to examine that and see if there's an agenda. The beauty of connecting to your passion and what experience or feeling you want to create is really that you all of a sudden wake up to the fact that you have choice, and that there's, in every moment, you can create something new. So maybe that's like, wow, this looked like a roadblock, and now I can see 5 different possibilities because I'm not attached to the way that I think things are supposed to be. It helps you feel like a spirit being that can interact with the world in a totally new way. It's almost like shamanic eyes, where it's like, wow, a different part of me is interacting with life. And that might mean that you're not as attached to your observer up here. And it might mean that you are, it's like you're leaning into life. You're saying yes to life, and you're playing with whatever experience there is. Even if it's painful, you can find a way that you can move and rise toward it and embrace it in a soft way. The way that you can encompass any experience to empower you, or for you to see how much more graceful you can show up, or to see how you can kind of Aikido something that looked like a problem and you can make good out of it. So these are some of the main ways to get unstuck. And it also really helps to challenge your thoughts, where it's like maybe the thought itself is full of fear, like, I don't know what to do, I don't know what to do, I don't know what to do, I'm not gonna have money, or something like that. And so a fear-based thought is helpful for a little bit because it creates enough activation for you to want to create change. But a fear-based thought in general is, after that initial onset, is nothing but paralyzing. So what you want to teach yourself to do is to not see things as limited or as just one way. You want to stop looking around with darting thoughts, or, you know, it's like looking for the answer. Things don't come that way. They do sometimes, but it's not the right way. What you want to do is, from your empowered self or from your center, is look for, it's like a listening. It's like a deep listening to the isness of everything without any ideas of how things are supposed to be or any ideas of what's good and bad. And you start seeing all these subtle elements that maybe you didn't see before. And from that place, you're the empowered part of yourself that gets to make choice, that is able to create instead of life happening to you. And lastly, I think it's important to come back to what it means to be in your center. This is a long, it could be a very detailed answer, so I'm going to keep it kind of concise. Your center is going to be the thing that makes you feel the most like you. So maybe that's when you're playing with your cat or dog, or when you're close to your kids, or when you're out in nature, or when you're meditating in quiet, or after you've danced and your whole body feels awakened. The things that make you feel like you're in your center are the things that bring you right into the present moment. We're almost a little bit more in a flow state. The mind isn't really chatty. There's more of a listening and a presence. So whatever brings you into a deep presence is what you want to keep working with and keep growing, because that is a seed that you can keep cultivating. And you can't do it from your observer mind. You have to do it from your ground of being. And the ground of being feels lower in the body, lower sensation, and you can just sit there and hang out in that ground of being. But if this observer is objectifying your experience, or it's like, oh, this is what I'm doing now, what am I supposed to be noticing? I noticed that. That's not presence, and that's not contact. So what we're looking for is a deep and intimate contact with the moment, and that can bring you into presence. And it's not something you try to do, it's something you surrender into, so you can find this place of grace and wholeness, and a place where everything is as it is, and you don't need anything more. It's like you're already whole, you're already free, and there isn't anything to change. That's part of what it's like to be in your center. And it's also a feeling of connectedness. So there are a million meditations you can do with that, or that you can find, or a million different practices that you can do. It's unique to you. But I hope that this video is really helpful in having some keys to letting people get unstuck. You have to freeze out the body, or unfreeze the body. So sometimes that's through bodyworker massage, or through deep contact or connection. And then it's connecting to what lights you up the most. And then the answer will be a lot more clear. It'll come more from your wholeness than from your head. And I hope this is really helpful, guys. If you would like to hear more yummy information, feel free to subscribe to my channel, and I'll keep you posted soon. Thank you.